Okay, this should be the last chapter, at least for now, and deserves its own chapter. This is all about ride for hire. In the past, personal auto policies are very specific in the fact that you cannot use your vehicle for what they call livery. That means a taxi. That means drive for money. Okay, so every auto policy, every personal auto policy you see, they're going to have some wording in there where they talk about how we are not covering you at all if you are participating in this. Okay, now that's a taxi. Taxi is different from ride for hire, right? A taxi is a taxi service. You're using that car, driving people around, but it's kind of old school. Ride for hire, kind of a new thing, and the insurance companies have had a little bit of a difficult time figuring out what to do with this. They finally figured out the best way to do it, but if you do ride for hire, or if any people on your policy or any vehicles on your policy are in the ride for hire situation, you definitely need to add that coverage to your policy. Now, I know you're thinking, hey, I drive for one of the big companies and I'm paying them to have insurance through them, so I don't need to pay any more on my personal auto policy because that big company is covering me with their insurance while I'm driving people around for money. And that is true. But there's a gray area. So let's get our gray area. And that is if I am driving my car and I'm going to work, then no doubt about it, that is a personal use of a car, right? Personal auto policy, personal use. It's not livery, it's not ride for hire. And then if we get over here to the other extreme and we are driving our car and we have someone in it for ride for hire, then that company is covering you. You have a passenger in the car, you are driving for ride for hire company insurance. You're covered. And that's a good thing. And their plans are usually a lot of coverage at a fairly decent rate. So this is your personal auto policy. It's the one that you're using anytime you're driving around your personal car for personal reasons. And that could be, going to work and that kind of stuff. But, and then over here, specifically, you got a person in the car, and that's the difference. You got a person in the car. That's when that company's insurance picks up, not before that point at all. Okay. And with the personal insurance, it works up to a certain point as well, and then it doesn't go any further. So we're left with this little square here. Now, here's what this square represents. This is an area where your personal auto policy will not pay for any claims, and that big ride for hire company will not pay for any claims. And that is, let's keep with the gray area here. That is when you are driving around and it's still just you in the car, but your phone is on and you are looking for someone. Okay? So I'm driving to work, no big deal. I'm driving around and I decide, hey, I'm gonna see if anybody needs a ride. I turn on the app. As soon as you turn on that app, your personal auto policy says, no, you're working. At that point, you are operating as a taxi service. At that point, you are a livery. This company says, you don't have anybody in the car, so we're not going to cover you. And that's what their wording is. And so insurance companies have had to fill that void, and it took quite a while for them to get everything worked out. But you add this endorsement, ride for hire endorsement, and all it does is it adds in this one little block. That gets added to your personal auto policy. So now, in this whole instance, you are completely covered. I'm driving around for myself, I turn on the app, I have someone in the car. Personal auto takes care of all that, and that company's insurance takes care of that. Ride for hire endorsement. If you do ride for hire for any of those companies, very important that you make sure you add that coverage. It does not come with the policy, you have to add it. So, ride for hire, make sure you talk to your agent about that. If you need it, make sure you've got it. That can really end up being a big problem for you down the road. No pun intended. So anyway, there you go. Ride for hire.